we'll do it for Susie, and then we'll have some fun over the course. You're on, Red. Yeah, you'll have to snip that bit out.
Yes. Okay, thanks, Peter. We're going to talk about Freelancer tonight. There are multiple other sites out there. Freelancer is another one. So we're not promoting Freelancer at all. It's just that we like Freelancer, and also it's an Australian company, so that's another reason why we support Freelancer. Freelancer is basically like eBay. You've got people at one side of the spectrum and people on the other side, buyers and sellers on eBay. In Freelancer, you've got clients who want work done, and you've got designers and everything else for people who want to do the actual work. If you want to look at browse projects, and I'll quickly show you this. Browse projects, the categories. This gives you an idea how much work is actually live right now inside of Freelancer. So this is the work that's actually live in Freelancer, and I'll just expand it up for you. Every number in a bracket is a live project, and this one is websites, IT, and software. You can see there's things in there that I've never even heard of before, but it's obviously out there getting work done. Scrolling down, mobile phones, something about iPads, there's 126 live jobs. Writing and content, if you want your assignment written for university from now on, there's 314 university assignments being written for some universities around the world. Ghostwriting, forum posting, fiction, product descriptions, resumes. Down in design and media, obviously the one that we're going to be working on is logo design, and you can see that it's probably one of the biggest numbers on Freelancer. Freelancer seems to have an awful lot of logo designers, and that's why we go with logos to this website, because most of the job is actually in logo design. So there's 636 live projects there. And data entry, for those of us who are administration people, that is now being done in Freelancer. So if you are within the data entry field, just be aware that there is competition out there that is looking to take your job away for much less dollars per hour. Engineering and science, product sourcing, sales and marketing. A number of our previous students do the sales and marketing. It's called scraping the website. If you want 100 companies that are within your field with their addresses, emails, and things like that, you put it up, you ask for the scraping of the website, and they'll return you 100 companies that are aligned with your product going forward. Translations, we use this a fair bit as well. So when we want something translated into a particular language, we can come in here and source it, and the jobs are endless. But we just want to take you through the logo design, and I'll take you through the strategies that we do. Probably the best strategy that I have done is actually gone into Freelancer and looked at previous contests that have actually occurred and go, I like that, how can I mimic that, or how can I copy that, or how can I actually have exactly the same project. So within my own projects, myself and Peter, we have a thing here called completed contests. Inside Freelancer, there's two styles. There is a project-based and there's a contest-based. Project-based is, I want a logo design, and you just put it up, and 60 people will actually say, I'll do it for $200, I'll do it for $10, I'll do it for $1,500, and you pick which person that you want to actually engage without them actually doing any work pre. Whereas in contest, you make the 60 designers all do the pre-work first and actually put all their answers up on the website for you, and then you go and pick the best answer. We like contests for logo design rather than for other aspects. Some tasks will be project-based, some tasks will be contest-based. We honestly believe that logos is best suited in the contest. So in my contests here, my past contests, so designing a personal logo, that's probably one that we're going to do tonight through Susie. So this is one I've done previously. You can see that it's been closed off. I received 114 entries, and I actually had already told the winner how much I was going to pay before they even started working. So I was going to pay $60 Australian out. So of that, here is my contest brief, and this is probably the most important thing to capture, is the actual brief, because the brief gives a very clear description of what actually has to be done. You don't want to leave it too broad because you'll end up with things that are nowhere near the market you're trying to do. So when you go and find something in Freelancer and go, yeah, that's what I want, go then to the brief, copy the brief, and amend the brief to your own specific needs. So down here, you can see that for Dennis, was his name, Dennis Grensel, we got all of these different logos coming towards us. And it was just a straight, simple logo. Dennis, first name, Grensel, second name, and that's effectively all they were given to actually work on it, on a logo. It's same as eBay. eBay has yellow stars, 1 being bad, 5 being good. And you can see that you can actually rank the stars to give feedback to the other designers what you think is good. So you run a 7-day contest, and around about day 2, you start putting on some yellow stars to give the other contest people ideas of what you're trying to get towards, so that by the time you get to day 6, in the very last day, people have got a very good idea of what you do like and what you don't like, and they can then start, in the very last iteration, doing a design logo that sort of within your sphere of what you're trying to achieve. That's obviously page 1. If I take you to page 5, you're probably going to see some pretty bad logos. And page 5 is actually just all messages. So let's just go back to page 4. Up more, was it? And I'm struggling with the internet. So page 4 is still loading. And let's scroll down to maybe see some really not desirable logos that we were hoping for. Now, there's no reason why we should laugh at this guy, because this guy is probably maybe a 10-year-old Pakistani person who's just got onto the internet for the very first time. They've seen this thing on Freelancer and they've had a go at it. But of course, it's not meeting the needs that we want as an end user. But they have got the opportunity to get $60, which could easily be at least a month's wage for them over in whatever part of the country is striving. So what we're doing is we're transferring money from a rich country, possibly into a country that is poor. We are actually exporting our dollars out of Australia. Now, you've got to say, is that good or bad for the Australian economy? And that's your decision. We've actually had quite a lengthy discussion, myself and Peter, and we feel comfortable with what we're doing. And if you want to know our explanation, you can ask us later. So here are the 114 entries. So what we're going to do straight away is we're going to go to the brief. We're going to copy the brief. Find the brief. Hit brief again. Thank you. And we are going to copy that. And wherever it says Dennis, we're probably going to change it to Susie. So now I'm going to start a contest. So post a contest. What work do you require? I require design, select the job, design a logo. Yeah. Okay, we'll leave it at graphic design, logo design. I'll leave it at that. So this is where I actually do the pasting of the previous brief, and you'll go and find a brief that you like. So we need a personal logo for, get rid of Dennis. Susie, yep, I got the spelling right. Susie, tell me if I got it wrong. S-U-S-Y, have I got that right? Thank you. McGregor, M-R-E-G-O-R, yep. She is, Susie, do you want to explain what, you're not a motivational speaker, you are a writer? Writer and blogger for an Australian audience? International? Global? See how we're just changing certain things here? We said that the dentists need to be stylized. We might just leave all that out and we'll see what they actually do. We need the logo for a website, a folder, a business card, and the logo needs to have 2 parts. Part 1 is the full logo and part 2 is the thumbnail. Now what we always do is we get a nice long logo for your sign and your business, but we also ask for a thumbnail. Now the thumbnails are usually the things that are used in your user profile, like Facebook is the one long word, but the little F in the blue square, that's the little thumbnail. So we always ask them to create a thumbnail and a logo. Quite often the thumbnail is almost just a mirror image of the first part of the logo. So we'll see what they come up with. Part 1 is the full logo, part 2 is the thumbnail used as an avatar and favicon on websites, forums. The logo should recall what type of feeling words do you think, Susie? Like what type of writing is it? Is it sort of like drama?
What do they call it? Non-fiction.
Science fiction, fantasy.
Sci-fi, is that what it is?
Yeah, sci-fi and fantasy.
Sci-fi, S-C-F-I?
S-C-I-F-I.
S-C...
F-I.
F-I, just like that.
Almost space.
Needs space.
Thank you, I knew it didn't look right. Fantasy. Any particular colours, Susie?
Spelled it wrong.
I think possibly like a red, something like that.
Red. And there is actually what they call a colour hex. If you just type colour hex into Google, it'll actually show you a whole range of colours. You click on the colour and actually will tell you the actual hex number. And the reason why we say that is because if I go to red out into the big wide world, I'm going to get 1,000 different reds coming back at me. But that might be all right. So we might just leave it as red. And this colour can be in 2 different shades with also black and white as the other colours. Now, there is a reason why we try to limit the colours, because otherwise you end up with psychedelic logos coming towards you. We probably would like to try and keep it fairly simple colours. It helps us with our decision making. The files need to be designed in a vector-based program. Now that's probably one of the most important words there. A vector-based program means that the actual file, when it comes to you, if it's vector-based, you can zoom it in and zoom it out and it will still retain 100% quality. Whereas a pixel-based image, if you start to zoom it out, you know, like on newspapers when they expand the photo, it actually ends up with just black and white dots everywhere. Whereas in a vector-based program, it always stays beautiful. Now, the vector-based programs, the classic one is Adobe Illustrator. So we will get Adobe Illustrator files, and the files need to be transferred as .ai files. Now, the reason what .ai is, it's Adobe Illustrator files. And because I've got Adobe Illustrator, I can then convert them into PDF files, JPEG files, etc. Now, if you're at home and you don't have Adobe Illustrator or anyone who can use Adobe Illustrator, obviously you're going to probably delete that line and just ask for a high quality JPEG image. But what that means is that you are then fixed with that image and you can't scale it up or scale it down without some interference. So that is why I prefer this method, and it's probably a good idea to work through me because I do have that Adobe Illustrator to actually allow it to go up and down.
Just what about the byline?
Yeah, where are we going to add that?
I think maybe say include the byline. I know Susie looks at it like there's one logo, but you probably find that the name is better promoted. I mean, and you've already done, what did you say before? And other stories, yeah. So include the byline and other stories. But anyway, just see how that works. It's just that if you included all those along there, it would be so small. Anyway, it's just a test. It's just,
Yeah, this is just an educational
yeah,
process.
Yeah.
So we've added to the logo, also include the byline and other stories. Now I took out the umlauts because quite often they'll actually put the umlauts into the logo and we don't want to do that. Remembering that we're going to give them feedback after day 1, day 2, day 3. So come on Thursday prepared to give some feedback, especially Susie. We're going to give them yellow stars up and down when it comes through. So I'm not going to add any files. Our budget, Pete's already talked to me about it. We're going to go with $50. That's an okay result. Expect around 1 to 30 entries. Now, we believe we'll probably get more than that. We're going to run the contest for 7 days, so it'll actually finish next Tuesday. Or is that 8 days?
do it on the
8 days?
so we do it.
I have ticked these previously, but I'm not going to tick them anymore because I just don't feel that for this project doesn't need to be ticked. So we're unticking everything. Guaranteed freelancers that are winner will be chosen and awarded the prize. This will attract better entries. So we're going to guarantee that we will pay someone that money, but I don't need it to be featured. I don't need a top contest. I don't need it to be highlighted. I don't need it to be sealed. Sealed means that no one else sees the other entries. And away we go. Get entries now. I have already got a PayPal account already set up in my account. So automatically it's going to debit my debit card through PayPal. PayPal is not PayPal. You know how PayPal's a third entry. Freelancer is a third entity as well. So the money's now being transferred to the Freelancer account, but it doesn't go from the freelance.com account to the winner until both parties are happy. So I have to be happy, the designer has to be happy, we both agree, we basically sign an agreement form to say that we're both happy, then the monies are transferred. And if both parties are not in agreement, it goes into dispute and then they get involved. Not for me, because I'm working with what's the call, Pete, when we're using very little money to test things?
Affordable loss. This is a
Affordable
good
loss.
example of affordable loss, isn't it?
Yeah.
We're going to get a massive learning for $50. You know, you're not going to get much learning. For
You try and go to a $50 course
Mm.
to actually learn what
to learn how to do this.
So that's out there now, and we
By
just
the end of
wait
the class,
and see.
we'll have some entries. You watch.
Do you have Freelancer open?
I do.
If you just go to, yeah, you can actually search,
So
I
will we be
think.
doing like logos through your account?
If you don't want to have to pay the $5 a month setup fee and everything like that, because I'm actually doing that, you can just come through and we provide that service for you.
Thank you.
In
I'm
class.
still connected to the microphone.
Yeah.
And it's just a matter now of updating. One other thing I want to just show you is the, if you want to explore freelancers, so let's just go to browsing projects and let's have a look at browsing contests. So these contests are out there already. Design a logo for Susie McGregor. Wow, there you go. There's someone out there already. For a medical directory, that ends in 1 hour. So if any of you are keen designers, you can get in there. Obviously, there is some
Because they're paying, what, $89?
$89.
We're just doing a test for ourselves to see. We normally pay $80. We're just going to see what $50 gets and see, not for a saving, but just to see if there is a, you know. So for us, it's a learning.
So let's try
As
and
well.
pick a pick one that we like there. This one looks like it's got some creativity, or maybe even this one. Come on. What I'm trying to do is actually find a user. I just want to show you how to look at a user. So these are all designers across the world. Okay, let's go have a look at Abby Grover. So I now click on Abby Grover, and he's put in a couple of entries, but I click on the username again of Abby Grover.
Can you see if any of them have one? Can you see, like,
Yeah.